Yeah. Well, it's good. This today is really going to be a very small, tight, intimate group. So I'm not expecting a very huge turnout. Maybe about 20 people, more or less, give and take, because quite a number of people indicated they cannot do today, the time slot. So we just keep it fun, keep it chill, and ask you know, just very casual questions and answers. So thank you so much once again, Gigi and Tamara, for help for availing yourselves.
Hi.
Hello. Well, Melissa and Michelle, since you guys are early,
Yep.
a quick introduction. Where are you guys from?
We're from I'm Soul Inc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the music technology people. Right.
Very nice.
Yeah, we kind of like launching this new thing where, okay, backtrack. What we do is to try and use music to be able to help people to, you know, be happy. Because I believe that when you are happy, then anything is possible. It's about if you're sad, you're down, you don't do anything. And it seems at first to most people quite frivolous. It's like happy, how do you measure it? But actually that's so fundamental. And I firsthand when my dad had a stroke. And he was 55 at that time, and it paralyzed him. He was top of the game, but when it hit him, he just gave up. It was the spirit that gave up because he got very frustrated. He didn't want to do anything. And I saw how devastating that can be. So for me, it was being able to use something that is drug-free and a movement to be able to actually get the fundamental, the soul level up. And then you're open to learning, you're open to being positive, you can receive goodness, you can connect, you know, without that piece. So that's why we're not I'm Music Inc. We're actually I'm Soul Inc. It's really about that. So music is an enabler, technology is an enabler. And the technology is to be able to recognize that fact that most people are not musicians. They cannot read the notes. And for the elderly or for people with disabilities, so many of us, even holding the instrument may be a difficulty. So we overcome those barriers. So we used to do a lot of community work. We would go to the hospitals and the homes and all that to get the therapists and all to make music. And then the second stage was when I really want to bring this to the masses. So we went to the void decks. But now with COVID, I'm finding with the isolation and the loneliness and all that, we're actually really trying to get it into the homes. So that, because we heard that abuse cases have gotten just gone up. People are confined, and it's this thing called freedom. It's like if I am isolated, I am not free to express myself. I'm not free to be able to do the things that make me good. And this is a very fundamental piece. The other thing is about the connection, because music is so universal. You know, when words fail, you know, we can connect through music. And so this is a piece where everyone's trying to really do poverty, you know, help specific people. My career throughout life has always been the corporate side to link across the organization. So just like weaving cloth, you know, you do this, somebody's got to do this. It's a lot harder because it's so diverse. And I've worked with like 3-year-old children to 105, my oldest. You know,
105.
Yeah, 105-year-old in Hong Kong.
Wow.
So we've gone to Hong Kong, you know, to many places, and I've worked with Down syndrome, Parkinson's, dementia. I think people like that. So for me, this is a very key piece, the intergenerational, all ages. Because once you have that base, from there, you can build.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And for those that just joined us, we are just waiting for the rest to dial in. So I thought I'll just do a quick introduction, just to kind of, because Michelle was quite early, so I thought just to hear her out. But okay, I see everyone is trickling in. maybe I'll just have so just a quick one. Feel free to turn on your video, guys, because I cannot see you guys on the other side of the screen. This is not a webinar. We did this deliberately as a meeting room because then we can see you, right? We expect this to be actually quite a small crowd, maybe about 20 people maximum, because this is quite targeted, which is great, which means that we can have a conversation, right? I don't want to do a one-way presentation. That's not my intention. Today is really just doing a very simple conversation and hearing from you guys. We want to get some feedback. We want to ask some questions because we want to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers. Let's see who's in the room. We have Craig. Craig, I know you're from Straw Innovation. Greg, where are you from?
From SG Assist.
Oh, SG Assist.
Right.
Fantastic. Okay, let's see who else do we have here? Eric, where are you from?
Hi, I am based in Petaling Jaya, Malaysia. I don't presently have a social enterprise, but I do have intention to do that, especially among rural communities. So I'm here maybe to listen about what else is going on and maybe get some ideas for your plan. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
sounds good. Melissa, I understand you're with Michelle, is it?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And Nick, where are you dialing in from? You're muted, Nick.
From Singapore.
Okay. Do you represent any organization in particular?
Affordable Boats.
Affordable Votes. I see. Paul, where are you dialing in from?
Singapore.
Sorry?
Singapore.
Singapore. And you
Yes.
represent any
Haga,
organization in
Singapore.
particular?
Haga, Singapore.
Haga.
Yes.
Okay. And Nathan, where are you dialing in from?
I'm actually stuck in Singapore.
Stuck in Singapore. That's an interesting one. Do you represent any organization in particular?
I am with an organization called Freedom Business Alliance.
Okay. Freedom Business Alliance. Is that a non-profit or?
It's registered as a nonprofit in the United States at the moment.
Okay. Shirley, where are you dialing in from? Sorry, you're muted, Shirley. You're muted, Shirley. We cannot hear you.
From Singapore.
And you represent?
Represent from PLMC.
Sorry?
Not represent, I don't represent anyone.
Okay. Oh, no. Any organization.
PLMC.
PLMC.
Ah.
And Juliet, what about you? You're muted. Sorry, guys. Everyone is kind of muted by default, so you have to unmute yourselves.
Okay, it's okay. I'm based in Singapore, and I'm representing the TWCEA.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what does that stand for?
Stands for Transform World Southeast Asia,
Okay.
which
Cool.
does a lot of various aspects of what TBN Asia does as well. Yeah.
Very nice. I'll just go to Jovi as the last one because I'm conscious that we have more people dialing in, so we should start. Jovi.
Hi everyone, I'm Jovi Almontais from the Philippines, representing Light of Hope PH.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let me just switch my screens around a little bit just to make sure that everyone can see. I am going to share my screen in a bit. Just one moment. That's weird. Okay, well, thank you everyone for making time today. Just one moment while I share my screen. Okay. Oh, Bernice, you have to enable, either turn me to host or you have to allow me to share my screen.
Yeah.
Cool. right.
Hey, we're still waiting for some people, right?
I think we can start. Of course, there are more people that trickling in,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna. I always try not to penalize the early comers.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see this beautiful PowerPoint that I have on my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll just start and I'll give a very casual introduction. So for you guys probably have heard our team members mentioning this like a few thousand times during the conference, but we are from TBN Asia. We are a non-profit that believes in fighting poverty through enterprise. And we take an ecosystems approach to supporting social entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. Now, there are many ways to fight poverty, of course. In our case, we just chose to wrap all our efforts around social entrepreneurs and social enterprises. We believe in collaboration, empowerment, dignity, hope, and restoration. In a lot of cases, this is all focused on helping the communities that our social enterprises are supporting. So there's a trickle effect, right? We create jobs, we create opportunities, and in the process of doing so, economic empowerment and restoration of dignity. So we try to, when we say we take an ecosystems approach, what we mean is that we develop multiple facets. The old TBN Asia that you would know is very focused on conferences, and we kind of started from there. We bring like-minded people, we share. People say that they enjoy our conferences, they have learned a lot. Then we found out that there's this slight dissatisfaction. They kept asking us, what's next? What more can we do? And 2-3 years ago, we don't have anything that allows them to channel some of that. But this year in particular was a bit special because we actually built an ecosystem around the whole our efforts, and we now have 5 different pillars. I will talk about the rest first. The conference and events you guys have been to, Investors Club is something new. We want to invite people who are new to impact investment. They want to learn more, and this is one avenue for them to do so. The Resilience Program is where we channel all the proceeds of our sales and sponsorship from our conference, which thanks to everyone here, we have actually raised about 60K Sing dollars, which out of that, we will channel about half to Indonesia and Indonesia and Malaysia respectively, and work through ecosystem partners to continue to use the proceeds of this pooled fund to help the social enterprises. Just pause here for a second. Bernice, are we recording this? Just double checking.
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. So today I will talk a little bit more about the Social Enterprise Training Hub. This is the one that I'm personally leading, and tied quite closely to it is actually the Expertise Network, which is a separate follow-up session tomorrow. Okay, so what is the Social Enterprise Training Hub? It is a program that we have set up to help to really focus more on helping social entrepreneurs, or sometimes we call them social impact entrepreneurs, to help their enterprises be more investment ready. That's the long and short of it, right? Now, when people ask, what does investment readiness really mean? We say that we help you to take in your first external investor, an investor that is not one of your 3 Fs. We always say, right? Friends, family, or fools. The last F is obviously a joke. But basically, we are saying that it is not someone very close to you. You can actually convince someone external to invest. Now, we don't really care whether is it an individual angel investor, or is it a family office, or is it a real setup VC or impact investment. The key thing is when you get someone external to invest, it's actually validation of your business model, right? That means someone believes in it. Someone believes in it enough to put in money. We are very blessed. This program is actually supported by the John Templeton Foundation, which gave us the leeway and the runway to run this program, because this program is very intensive. And we'll explain to you a bit more as to why is it intensive. We actually have a goal. This is part of our KPI. We want to help mobilize $1.5 million invested into these social enterprises. Now, key thing, not TBN Asia investing. We always have to clarify, because TBN Asia is a non-profit, we don't have any funds to invest. But in our efforts, we actually build out a network of investors and impact investors who can. So if you remember, one of our 5 pillars is the Investors Club. We actually bring in like-minded people who are interested to invest into social enterprises. We hope to create 500 new jobs, and in doing so, these social enterprises also benefit about 100,000 low-income people combined. It's a very, very lofty goal, we have to tell you. When we look at the numbers, we are like, okay, it's definitely a stretch goal, but we will try our best to make it happen. Okay, so now what I would share with you is what we have done or what we have planned for cohort 1. I'll explain why I use the term plan for cohort 1 in a bit, right? So in our original plan, we have a 2-day bootcamp in person, and this was planned for Jakarta. And then we have a 5-month period of workshops, mentoring, and coaching. We have monthly sessions where we have a workshop every month, either 1 day or 2 days, where all the participants come together. Then at the end of it, we have another 2-day intensive bootcamp to really prepare the participants for pitching. Because at least for cohort 1, we are supposed to have a final pitch for all the SEF participants at the end of the physical conference, right? And then beyond that, that's where if the participants have done well, they have attracted the interest of investors, we also want to help them in terms of the term sheet structuring and negotiations. Okay, what do we focus on? Before we talk about the enterprise, we focus a lot on the entrepreneur. These are some of the things that we have consciously decided on, because we believe that because we do look at some very specific social enterprises, you must have been around for quite a while, for at least 3 years. You must be at least post-revenue. That means you have a product or a service that people are actually paying for. Now, we don't expect you to be profitable yet, but it's fine. So if you are in that 2, 3, 4, 5 year stage, this is where what we call the valley of despair sets in, right? So we actually believe there's a huge need to reinvigorate or re-excite the entrepreneur, first and foremost. Then the rest of it is a lot on the business and financial modeling. We say strategy, but we are very pragmatic. We try not to do too much theory. We try to do a lot more on practical stuff and actual term sheet negotiations. Specifically for cohort 1, we were looking at social enterprises in 3 categories: agriculture and food, water and energy. And then later on, we added a 3rd category called hospitality and services. Okay, so this is cohort 1. It can change for cohort 2. So I'll just briefly run through with you what was some of the sessions that we planned. Workshop 1 actually happened. First day, we had some really fun stuff. We were talking about using Lego, this methodology called Lego Serious Play, to help to construct or help you to identify what is your long-term plan, right? Your 3-year plan. Then the second day, we talk about how do you communicate, and then what is a very simple strategy for a simple way to articulate the strategy for your business. Then the second workshop, we talk about business and financial modeling. This is diving deep into your business model canvas and getting you to share with your peers and getting their feedback. The third one is really on scaling up. So we talk about what are the 7 factors of why companies scale and why those factors actually matter to investors. Okay, and I actually listed down the 7 factors here. The fourth workshop is a bit more of a breakout type of style, where we have rapid 2-3 hour kind of workshops spread across 2 days, where we have different advisors coming in to talk about HR, sales, legal, marketing, pitch preparation, for example. But the earlier part, because workshop 5, we go back again into your business plan and really refining your pitch. And then right after that is done, you have a final pitch. This again was planned, a keyword plan. Originally, we were supposed to have a physical conference in KL, and this is in August. As you guys knew, the story changed quite a fair bit because of COVID. So post the pitch, post the conference, we are supposed to help our startups, our social enterprises go deeper into investor negotiations and term sheet negotiations, and really working down to the legal documents even. Now you keep hearing the word plan, because all this were planned, and then our dear friend COVID-19 came, right? So everything obviously changed. We literally halfway through, we pivoted our entire workshop online, and a lot of, and we even converted our conference to online and pushed it forward. So our entire timetable got changed. But I think we have to give full credits to the operations team, to the trainers, and to the participants who are very flexible, because when we converted everything online, everyone was still very participative. They still submitted their homework on time. They still showed up for all the Zoom sessions. So it was great. Now, it's a lot of talking on my side. I thought it would be cool for us to actually hear from two of the social enterprise founders, Tamara as well as Gige, to really share very quickly about their experiences on Seth so far. So Gige, maybe I'll have you go first. If you could just tell us very quickly about your social enterprise, and what is your experience with Seth?
Yeah, thanks Wayne for the introduction. So my name is Gigi. I'm the co-founder of WeCare.id. So what we do is basically we are a medical crowdfunding platform. So we help underserved people to raise funds for their medical needs in Indonesia. So we work with hospitals and help them to fundraise to our website. Regarding Seth itself, this is actually my third participations in an incubations program. So previously I've been joining other two incubators as well. But what I really love from Seth, I actually really enjoyed the first workshop before the COVID-19. It was totally fun. I mean, like compared with my with our first and second incubators, I think it's quite fresh. Love the Lego and as well the Soundwave program. So. But then the COVID-19 hits, but still it didn't really lose the effect or the essence of the incubator itself. First, I think what I also love from Seth is that the first is durations. So my first incubator actually is during our very early stage, which is like in the 2017, even before that, 2016, like at the end of the 2016 to 2017, it was like 1 year program. So we consider that like very, very long programs. And every month we have a workshop, and it's quite a long process. So I think that's considerably quite long programs. The second one is actually very short. It's like more like an accelerator program. So like 3 months program, everything like just work very fast. And we just, we are responsible for like a specific task that we want to accelerate, but that's what quite very fast. So I think time-wise or duration-wise, 6 months is quite good for us. First, that it doesn't really overwhelm us with like a lot of stuffs, and the second one is not too long, and also it's just like the process are like just fit us very well. So that's something that I really love from Seth. Yeah, and the second one is perhaps the community itself. So I think why it is important as a social enterprise, especially or other business, not only in social enterprise, to join incubator is like, because as the founders, we always have to like knocking the doors or open the doors to find new opportunities. So I think deciding which incubators you want to join, and also when we have already joined, I think it's important to not taking it for granted, because like the new opportunities might come from these incubators, and that's what I also look for. Why we are keep joining incubator almost perhaps every year, because sometimes I just stop. I don't know. I don't know where should I knock the door. So I think that's what so far Seth and this community, which is like TBN and other networks on it, help us to like open the doors to new possibilities. So that's something that we're still exploring right now. Yeah. So that's some short experience of me with Seth.
Thank you so much, Gigi.
Yep.
Tamara, maybe we'll have you share next.
Yes, for sure. So my name is Tamara. I co-founded Liberty Society. It's a fashion social enterprise that empowers refugee women in our tailoring center at Bogor. So we make products, specifically workwear and basic wear for customers and also for B2B products, for B2B clients. So I would like to share 3 things which Wayne and Gigi has mentioned, which is the first one is the focus on entrepreneur. So my background before joining this accelerator is I run an accelerator program myself together with Google, UBS, McKinsey, and all the big names in globally. But what really made SET different is when you hear Wayne speak, when you hear Bernie speak, it's really different. You can really see that they really personalize each interaction rather than just giving you easily find on the website. So even but also they focus, it's a 50-50 kind of a workshop where 50% they get head level, but the 50% be usually applying and engaging with peer learnings, with homeworks, discussing, for example, discussing your, sorry, internet was unstable.
So yeah, you're chopping.
Can you hear me
in
fine?
and out a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's a part where the homework itself actually helps you very much on implementing the practical level. Secondly, it's the ecosystem. If you want to be in a community where they are focusing on impact, the vision is there, the people and impact, best conference for me, to be very honest, TBN Asia. Because all the people, not just in your country probably, but around Asia, is especially the summit of TBN conference. It is a really, really perfect time for you to really meet like-minded people. Third, I just want to share personal stories. My involvement with TBN Asia started 3 years ago when even in the where the barrier to start a conversation is actually very low. So you
Sorry,
from
Tamara.
one another and
You're popping in and out actually.
and then through SET program.
Can you hear us? Your video is kind of frozen. Uh-oh.
Oops.
Oops.
Can't seem to hear.
Maybe you might want to disable your video if that works. I see that you have disabled your video.
Is this better now?
We can hear you.
Where did you lose me at?
Third point.
The third point. Okay. All right. I'll try this quick. But basically, SET program assigned me with a mentor that I can grow not just in the business scale. So we were fundraising at that time. We will go both into the deep end of thinking about the business model, fundraising, negotiation process, but also aligning on your values and you growing as an entrepreneur. That's a very personal approach that not a lot of accelerator or incubator out there would give. That would be my last point where we just grow together with, not just they give you a content and then you're told to grow by yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. Okay, so I think a couple of things we just to review on both Gigi as well as Tamara's story. And yes, surprised me actually. I think more than half of our social enterprises that joined us have actually attended other previous incubation or acceleration programs before. Tamara herself actually two of them, Joy and Tamara, have organized programs like this themselves. So I was surprised. I was like, then why do you join us, right? I mean, if you have done it before and you have done it for bigger companies, first, why do you join us? And two, what's different? The feedback I got was kind of interesting. One is they said it's very different when you are organizing versus when you're participating. When you participate, you are thinking like a participant. You're not worried about running around and stuff like that. Now you start putting yourself back in the shoes to say that, what's the honest answer to this? And two is, and Tamara mentioned to me, which I was very encouraged, is that there are different programs for different stages. Some of these guys are pre-Series A and they are huge, right? So that's one of them. And two is that is very head knowledge heavy. Well, for our side, we take a very personal, a very high touch approach, I have to say, which is why I said it's a very intensive program. Each batch, we take in a very small amount of people because that's all we can afford to take. We text message each other. We try to handhold the process. We found out, for example, during the Hari Raya, that Gigi's office got broken into, right? So we actually know stuff like this because it's a community, which is what Gigi has been sharing. So that's one of the things that we thought is a little bit different. And social entrepreneurship is a very personal journey. And which is why we wanted a program that is personal. Yeah, but that said, personal being personal, when it comes down to work, we are very, very serious. If we ask you to do the homework for the workshop and you don't do it, we will come down hard on you guys. So that's it. Let me just come back to my screen share just to go back to a couple of final things. All right. So you've heard the story. So what makes Ceph unique? As what Tamara mentioned, we are very action oriented. 50-50 to us. We still not good enough. We actually wanted to do 25% theory and 75% application. The only unfortunate part was because we have to convert everything online. So the actual interaction part decreased a fair bit. And and we actually cut short all our sessions because we know that if we try to catch you online, 1.5 hours, anything more than 2 hours is too much to expect. But when we do a physical session, we could do 1 whole day, right? In fact, we could do 2 whole days. All our trainings are conducted by practitioners. These are not people who just give training, but they are people who are actually practicing. I think that's very key for us. 2 is we have this thing called our mentorship and coaching system is a little bit more unique. We have actually 3 layers of expertise. One is we have a business mentor who is someone that's very familiar with the nature of a business so that he or she can advise you on your business model. So for example, you are in agriculture and very specifically what kind of agriculture, we will try to find a mentor who has done that kind of business before. Now that approach almost killed us, I have to be honest with you, because trying to find that level of match of a mentorship is insane. But somehow, miraculously, we managed to do it for everyone in the first cohort, which I believe they appreciate. So that's why we say it's very intense, right? Then we have specialist advisors. These are people who are the experts in specific areas: finance, legal, HR, sales, marketing, for example. If you need help in those areas, we will also not only have a breakout set, we not only have a workshop on that, we will try to also schedule one-on-one clinics if required. But we want to make sure you also don't end up abusing the specialist advisors, right? Because anything more than 1 or 2 calls, I think you really need to consider a more longer term engagement. The third part that is very unique to Ceph is we have this layer called a coach. Now, the coach is not as interested in your business as he or she is actually interested in you. So the coach will actually ask you difficult questions like, why are you doing this? The why is always very important. And is your vision big enough? Does it excite you, right? The coach will not give you any answers. His job or her job is to get you to come to your own answers on your own. All right. there's a lot of peer support. Now, again, I do regret that a bit of that has kind of been diluted because of COVID, but it's fine. I think there's still a lot of healthy discussions going on. I remember Tamara and Gigi specifically when COVID hit, Tamara was saying that, hey, my church wants to help people with this. Where can I do this through your platform? So I thought that was really encouraging because there's again that the sense of community to say that we are all friends, we are social enterprises, but again, we want to do this together. We have a common goal. So it always encourages me to see the different social enterprise founders interact amongst themselves. Okay, last but not least, and this is something that you can see us working towards, is that we are increasingly building a network of interested investors that we can match all our social enterprises with. Now, there are a lot of programs out there that kind of teaches you this is what you need to do and everything else, it kind of ends there, right? We hope to go beyond that. We hope to be able to at least do the introduction, connect you with some prospective investors early. Okay, and some of these prospective investors may also serve as business mentors, specialist advisors, or coaches. Okay, again, I've been doing a lot of talking so far. Question. I think this is the part where we can have a bit of an open Q&A. But before that, maybe just for us to really understand where you guys are coming from, can we just do a quick poll? I think Bernice will just send a Google form, very quick one. If you click on that, we just need, I don't know, less than, 30 seconds. It's just a 5-6 multiple choice questions for us to kind of know where you guys are coming from, what is the focus of your businesses, so that we kind of get a sense of what is your background and the areas that you are creating impact in. All right, Bernice has posted the link on the chat box. Anyone doesn't see the link? Okay, if we can just trouble you to just fill out the forms real quick, then we can just quickly look at the poll results and we kind of know where is everyone coming in from, and we kind of know who are the people in this room and what is your interest. Okay, we have the first one coming in. Hope the rest of you can just fill this out really quickly so we kind of get a bit of an insight. Where's everyone coming in from? Okay, for those of you who have actually completed the poll, I'm making this into a very open Q&A session. If you want to ask, okay. So for all of you guys who have any questions that you would like to ask me, I can address some of that first while waiting for the rest of the poll results to come in. Anyone has any questions so far? Okay, let me try to address the first question that Andreas posted just now. I'm not sure if I fully understand this question. Would pitching affect the investor's decision? Any evidence? Andreas, where are you? Oh, is he still around? Okay, I'm not sure, again, I fully understood the question, but if you want your investors to invest, you do a pitch. That's the long and short of it. So yes, pitching will affect the investor's decision, definitely. But how you pitch makes a difference, right? I'm not sure if you guys watched Shark Tank. the reality show where you show different startups pitching to prospective investors, you realize that what's interesting is this. You may find that there are 2 or 3 companies that have more or less the same business models, maybe nothing very interesting, but what distinguishes one person from the other is how he or she tells his story, gets the investor excited, pitches his or her vision. If you have watched Shark Tank long enough, you would see more, there are quite a few businesses are actually quite similar. So that's one of the key things I just want to focus on. So yes, how you pitch does make a difference. Okay, we have 14 responses so far. Okay. Unsurprisingly, Singapore makes up one of the biggest. Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia. Is that Cambodia? The other 7.1%.
I think that's mainland, which I think is mainland. I want to say China.
Okay. Okay, quite a fair bit of you, your beneficiaries are in the same country. Some of them are different. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. Which sector, which focus areas are your enterprises coming from? Focused on, sorry. We have quite a bit from education, quite a bit from eco, quite a bit from healthcare, which is good, quite a bit from tech, and agriculture. And then we have a spread across everything else. Okay. All covered. Product design, business modeling. Okay, I think most of you guys are okay with Seth being 100% virtual, which is great. I'm not sure, open to this. Okay, good to have a mixture. This is nice. Most of you guys would like to have at least 3 face-to-face sessions, and 2 is the next in line. Okay, let's see how we can make that happen. The reason why we say that is COVID is outside our control. We have to be very honest. In our ideal situation, we would have had all of you guys meet up at least once a month. And in our original program, even though we said that it's in Indonesia, we were surprised that we have actually half-half. 50% Indonesians, 50% outside of Indonesia, and they were willing to commit to flying down every single month for 5 to 6 months. Actually 5 to Indonesia and 1 to KL. So I thought that was kind of interesting that the physical barrier is not a real challenge. People are willing to commit to the program and they are willing to fly down. Okay, sorry. Nathan, you were asking me about slide 4, the one about scaling, is it? What about this one? Is it this one that you're asking for?
Your screen isn't shared.
Okay. Is this the slide that you were asking?
Yes. Elijah, I'm in a meeting. Elijah, I'm in a meeting. Elijah, I'm in a meeting. Not yet, not yet.
Okay. Well, I have a little treat for you guys, actually. So Jeremy actually has a very condensed version of his video. He condensed it to about 22 minutes, and he has agreed to let me share that just as a teaser. So you guys actually get a sense of how some of the sessions are actually conducted. But if you want to get the full flavor of it, of course, we will say, join us for the program. But I'm happy to share the link for a very super condensed version of Jeremy's session. It's a 22-minute video clip at the end of this session. Okay. All right. Before I continue, again, any questions?
We have one in the chat.
Interested to learn about social. Okay, by the way, guys, if you guys prefer to just unmute yourself and just to speak, that's also fine, because this is not a webinar. We have made this into a meeting room, so it will be more fun to hear you guys speak directly. Unless you guys have issues with your mic, then I'm happy to read out your questions instead.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Fanny from Indonesia. I know TBN Asia Conference from Tamara actually, because I told her that I'm also interested to learn about social enterprise and build a sustainable one to support the program that I'm currently running in my community organization. So what I gathered from your presentation and also the past participants of Seth, they are mostly quite established. So I just want to ask, what is the baseline or what do you expect from the participants before joining? Can someone fairly new join and stuff like that? Thank you.
Well, it's a great question. I do have a slide on that. Just give me a second. Let me just share that. Okay. So just making sure that, so we actually do have some criteria. We say that you must have at least been around for about 3 years, post revenue. That means you have generated some form of revenue. We don't need you to be profitable, but the very fact that you generated some revenue means that there's someone willing to buy your products or services. You actually have a product and service that someone would buy. We actually do some form of endorsement check as well, because there are a lot of people who claims they are social entrepreneurs, but when we read but when we go down and do a bit of a background check, we realize that this guy is not what he or she says he or she is. And we actually do have ways to find out. This is actually a very small circle. So in your case, Fanny, for example, I just have to pick up the phone and call Tamara and say, hey, I need to understand a little bit more. Who is this Fanny person? Is she legit? Is the impact she's creating legit, for example, right? So that's kind of what we try to do. Now, we do make exceptions. I'm not saying we don't, but more or less, this is kind of where the sweet spot for us. Why do I say sweet spot? Because the truth of the matter is there are a lot of good accelerator and incubator programs out there. Some of them are as early stage as I'm just someone very passionate, but I don't have a business idea. Where do I start? They can start as early as that, which is why we say we don't want to be in that space. If you are very early stage, you have an idea, or you may not even have an idea. Guess what? There are actually programs that can cater to that, and we'll be more than happy to refer you to them. But if you are a lot more established, you're ready to scale, you're looking for investments for your social enterprises, we found this is the sweet spot for Seth.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me stop.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes. We have been around for like about 6 years. And about a year or so ago, we expanded into the region. So we actually almost broke even last year. Almost broke even last year. But what I was really interested in, and I hope you share a bit more about, is your first point about reinvigorating the entrepreneur. That part to me was like the fatigue. The fatigue. We are helping people to assuage loneliness and isolation, but I was feeling, because the company was changing, there was actually a staff who came to me and said, can we not do Asia? Can we just keep inside Singapore? Can we just do it small? Like, I had to face different values at different parts. And I really was attracted by this invigorating, because I thought, if I can't get myself up, I can't do better. So can you share a little bit more about that part of it? Because that's what was attractive to me about this program.
Okay. Social entrepreneurs are a little bit more special, right? A lot of generic entrepreneurs are there because they usually have a personal motivation. They want, at least in my case, when I started out, I just don't want to be like everyone else. I just don't want to lead a boring corporate life. I say I'm still young. I can do something different. Why not? If I listen to the stories of the social entrepreneurs, however, a lot of them are doing it not because they are attracted to the business, but they genuinely want to help others, right? So the why is very important and is very unique. So unfortunately, when we focus, I know, right? Running a business is tough. And there's a lot of emotional aspects to it that, and only an entrepreneur will understand. What happens when your closest business partners betray you, where your most loyal staff suddenly turns around and say bad things about you, your co-founders want to leave. These are stuff that's very unique to us. And after a while, you just get very fatigued. But what we found is that when we can come back to the entrepreneur's why and get them to really dig again and just rediscover their why, that's actually very important. But that process of doing so is not easy, which is why we actually have one of the best, Kim Pong, to come in and actually guide us through that process. He's really, really good. There's no answer. We don't have a short answer for you, but almost across the board, if you look at people like Simon Sinek, right? He will say start with the why. Your why is what draws people in, is what keeps you going, and will continue to move, go from there.
But actually, the why I find changes over time.
That's fine.
Yeah. So it's also the other thing I was personally interested in is that I'm a little bit different in that I'm actually 62.
Okay.
And it's not your normal, like I'm young, I don't want the corporate life. It's like I've done that. I've had the corporate life. I went into retirement, but then realized that if I were to live to 120, I would have like 60, as many years ahead of me as behind. And I didn't want to sit around during retirement. But it is actually much harder. Even harder, sometimes if you don't know and you're crazy, when you're young, it's, I think, less challenging than when you know a little bit more. And then it's, so it's this stage where I really would need to find the right group. Like many have gone through a couple of accelerator, who won some awards. But it's this part where my daughter's getting married on Sunday. And it's like, yeah, it's like I want to be able to get the next phase going now that like everyone's left, you know. So to me, picking the right group is very important. And I wanted to I was recommended because you guys are personal. I think that's very important. But this invigorating, I feel it's very close to what I do as a business as well, as an enterprise as well.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So any more on that would really what makes it special? And I'm also asking a question about my area because I don't really fit neatly into any of the others. So I always am a little concerned when people tell me you must target, and I'm like, yeah, my target is all. So how?
Well, Michelle, I'd love to take some of your questions.
Yeah, let's just do
because I'm just conscious we have a few more people who have raised their hands. Maybe I'll just start with Juliet.
Yeah, Wayne. So I was going to ask you when are you planning the next cohort of self-equipping and training for people?
Okay, that's a very good question. Notice I don't have a sign-up link for you guys yet. Why? Because we deliberately want to take this session and the next few weeks to really understand where is everyone coming from. And hopefully I also address Ian's question. Ian, I hope I pronounced your name right. Sorry, that's Nathan who's asking about specific industries. We are in the process of finding out because it's based on a few things, right? One, who are the social enterprises that are interested? Then if there's one that's coming, but like for example, from what I saw just now, agriculture is big, Bernice, healthcare, right? Because of COVID. So we will change accordingly and also depend on who wants to come along and partner with us. If Johnson & Johnson comes in for the next session, for example, for the next cohort, that they probably will want a bigger focus on healthcare, right? So what we are thinking of is we will open up the application in 1st of July. We'll take 4 weeks to consolidate, announce who's in the next cohort, and we'll probably start the next cohort in August. That's the plan.
So how big are your cohorts actually?
Typically, we are targeting 12 to 15.
because you don't want it too big, as you said, so that you get enough person. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. We have Adrian.
Yeah, hi Wayne. So I just have a very quick question regarding the the demographic of beneficiaries that we're targeting. So as I understand, like even in Singapore in race, they are very particular in terms of who we are supporting, whether is it seniors, whether is it low income families or whatsoever. But how about what if the solutions that we're trying to provide doesn't have an immediate direct beneficiary? It's more like supporting the caregivers as an indirect form of support, or maybe it's in form of a capacity building for the social service agencies. So indirect benefits to the social sector, how you see this as a solution?
You asked a very good question. What if your one is arm's length? I'll be very honest to say that so far our applicants are a little bit more direct. Not to say it's wrong. It's just because it's a lot easier for us to help them, because it's a lot easier for us to pair them up with the right mentors, with the right network, and we know exactly how to help. So at least this is from our past applications. Just curious, what is your solution focused on?
We are a mobile app technology that connects the neighborhood. We're looking at a real-time matching model whereby we actually connect the neighborhood volunteers to home-based needs. Basically, like if someone is at risk of having high-risk family members at home that wish to engage a volunteer or someone for freelance medical professionals through our platforms to the doorsteps just to check in to see what happened. So I wouldn't say that the impact would be directly to the beneficiary sometimes. It's more like those users who are actually using this service are likely caregivers or social service agency that wish to bridge the gap between their beneficiaries or their loved ones to immediate help. So it's indirect and direct at the same time, I would say.
I would say that as long as you are still benefiting the beneficiaries, to me is as good as direct. That means it just so happens that your solution is a two-prong. You are reaching out to the direct and the direct beneficiaries as well as indirect. I would even go to the point of saying that Gigi, you probably find that Adrian's solution is very similar to yours, because Gigi actually runs one of the largest crowdfunding platform in Indonesia, targeted at fundraising for medical expenses. So I would actually say that it's very similar to what you are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So I wouldn't say that yours is indirect actually, but you might want to reach out to Gigi right after this call, because this is his area of expertise, I would say.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yen, sorry, I hope I pronounced it right.
Yeah. Is my microphone on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I met you, I think, at the SMU event. Dial in just to listen, because I've just recently completed my master in science gerontology, which is all about aging. Yeah, so I just wanted to say hello and see who else may be working in this area. So okay. I just registered a new enterprise that should eventually be a social enterprise.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, Eric has a question. I'll answer Eric's one first, then I'll come to you, Craig. Would SEF take an organization that has recently formed a company to continue a work that has begun as a charity? Short answer is yes, because social enterprises come in many different forms. Quite a couple of social enterprises were spun out from nonprofits. We do intend to support. However, the question we come back to here is that, of course, we will evaluate some of your past records and stuff like that, but we also have to make sure that you do intend to scale. Because if you want to do it at a very small scale, leisurely growth kind of thing, this might not be the right program, because we can get pretty intense, I have to say. So we are less concerned about the legal entity of the organization than we are concerned about the intent, right? So if the track record is still relatively new, then we have to take a look at the impact you created while it was still part of the nonprofit and see whether we believe it can become a very scalable social enterprise. we have seen examples of very scalable ones. Yes, Craig.
And my question was a little bit similar to that. We've been established just over 3 years, but it's technology development. We're developing new ways of doing things that there's already demand for rice, for energy, for rice production, but we are developing clean technologies that can make that like a circular economy. Now, since we've been developing the technologies, we've been focused on that rather than sales. We're transitioning now to selling, but I'm just wondering how strict is that 3-year sales track record? I mean, we've been testing the market a bit, but nothing like commercial sales for 3 years. So with that,
we don't need 3 years of a sales track record. We just need to know that the business has been around for at least 3 years, and you actually have some form of I understand this firsthand because I do product development. Sometimes the product could be in development for almost 2 years.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Or all the way until only the past 6 months where you actually see some promise that there is sales coming in. And that's usually when a lot of startups in a typical tech startup kind of environment, that's when you start raising funds, because you say, my product is done. Right now I'm doing validation. I'm trying to find the product market fit, which is a very common word that startups tend to use. And then it's a matter of whether the investors actually buys the pitch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have just 2 points. I'm just conscious of the time. It's 5:59. I have 2 points, and this is always important for me to share. Sometimes people will scream when I share this, but it's important for me to share, okay? And it's basically this. There is a fee to this program, all right? Now, you may think that the fee is doing us a favor. I assure you absolutely not. That doesn't cover our costs. It only covers maybe 15 to 20% if you are fortunate of the programs, of the cost that we are running, because we actually do have people on staff to do all the coordination and stuff like that. So why do we insist on a payment? This is what we found. If the social enterprises don't pay, they don't commit. Okay, simple as that. In our first cohort, we actually had special arrangements whereby we say that you can get people to sponsor you and stuff like that. But guess what? The people who actually dropped out, 1, before the program started, 3, halfway through the program, are the people who actually got sponsorships. That means they themselves didn't pay. Someone else paid for them. And they tend to be the guys who drop out the most. So this is what we've learned, which is why we insist there must be a fee. Now, if financially there is a challenge, talk to us. We can try to make it work. We have come up with some pretty interesting arrangements with different social enterprises, but we want to make sure that it costs something to you so that you commit to the program. And we have proven that those who don't commit are the ones who are less likely to follow through. Okay, so we just want to make this clear. This doesn't cover our costs, not even half, not even close. But we still want to make sure that there is skin in the game from your side to commit through a 6 months program, because it is a 6 months program. Okay. Last but not least, because you guys asked when are we actually officially opening up the sign up. We are opening up the sign up on 1st of July, and we even have a mini session to kind of commemorate that, to make that happen. We have a guest speaker, Daniel Flynn. He is the managing director and founder of Thank You Water, depending on how you know them. They are one of the largest social enterprises in Australia and one of the success stories. You can look them up. If you're from Australia, you would know them because they are pretty famous. We are very fortunate that he is willing to dial in and just to be the guest speaker for our kickoff, right? So our kickoff, we are not going to do anything major. It's basically really Daniel coming in to share his story, get everyone inspired, and maybe we'll just do a very simple one to say, this is the form, please sign up here. All right, but we want to make it, again, we want to make this something more useful, something you would enjoy. So do join us on 1st of July, 12 p.m. Singapore time. We have to stress, because sometimes we understand that people are dialing in from different parts of the world. Sometimes we get the time zones wrong. It is 12 p.m. Singapore time. You will definitely get a bit more of an update from us via email. If you don't well, quite a few of you have actually emailed me directly anyways. So you have my contact. Feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. Cool. With that, we have come to the end of our session. I'm not going to hold you guys back from your dinner and your family time. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank Gigi and Tamara for joining us and sharing their stories. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Are you sharing the video link that you mentioned for the...
Yes, I am.
Link up?
So just give me a second.
All right, thank you so much.
This is the video link. Let me know if you guys see it or don't see it. Please save the link because the moment we close this session, the link disappears.
Wayne, there's 2 quick questions if you want to just answer that in the chat box from Adrian and Nathan.
I have answered Nathan's question, right? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Okay. Below 2 years of operating, should attempt... Well, Adrian, we are open, I will have to say. We have our preference, but like we said, it all boils down to we have to evaluate based on impact and what are some. We have to balance things out. So if you're relatively young, but we believe that your impact is off the charts, we are open. And for Nathan or anywhere, again, like we said, we are not as sticky about the legal entity as we are about what you're trying to do, right? So we want to make sure, however, is you are not a sole proprietor or it's not even registered at all. Or if you're already planning to register, again, all of this we understand, because in certain countries, registering a business or registering a social enterprise is not that straightforward. We understand. So again, we have to evaluate on a case-by-case basis, and we can take it from there. But again, if you fit some of our other criteria in terms of impact, I think I think it's definitely a good slide. Okay, with that, we will end the session. I presume all of you guys have my email or at least Bernice's email. So if you have any questions, just feel free to email us. If you don't have, this is my email. And this is Bernice's email. All right. We shall end here for today. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Thank you so much.